We've seen in the last lecture how we could send a request to OpenAI. Code will be deleted here and it's not the full amount, so it can't be used again. But when we send the request, we get a response back. So let's look at the code. And what's kind of important is to separate out what is traditional coding, shall we say, deterministic coding, and what is AI coding. And this is a HTML page, a basic HTML page with JavaScript with a form. And what I've done is I've highlighted where the AI bit is in between here. And it's a request to one endpoint. So firstly, with our AI agent, we set up what we call a system prompt, the background of the agent. And it can be very long. Here it's about 6 lines. But if we look at an example of, say, one of Google's agents, we can see it's a very big handbook. It's almost like an employee's handbook saying exactly what needs to be done, what processes. And as we go through the course, we'll see how we will change the system prompt. But this is the core logic. This is actually, shall we say, the code that's not written in sort of PHP or JavaScript, but in natural language. And it gets sent to just one endpoint. So that's a very different style that we're not necessarily used to. We're writing code that we send up to the API point, and we're also doing that in natural language, in this case English. So when we send that request up, we do the usual fetch API requests of the method, the headers. We need to send our keys so that we can get a response back. Then we send a stringified version of a JSON object, an array essentially, saying what model we want to use, what messages, effectively the code, the first one being the system prompt, the second being what the user is going to be sending. That's what's going to be in here. This is the user prompt, and inbuilt is the system prompt. We could send them all as one, but we would have to then type it out if we're putting it in the input field. And the OpenAI models are trained on this sort of 2 sets of kind of messages, system and user. That's why we send it like this. That's just part of boiler point code. We have the maximum number of tokens so that we don't get more response than we want. And a token is approximately a word. It's not quite a word. It's about 3/4 of a word because they can get split into their individual chunks. We send a temperature setting, and we're going to go into that later. But basically that gives a degree of sort of flexibility or sort of possibility, because LLMs are based on randomness, and we may want to let it be a bit creative. So we set it at 0.7. It goes between 0 and 2. In machine learning, it's -1 and +1, but it's easier just to say from 0 to 2 as they do in the API. So we send that all off, and we get a response back of data. And in that object, we'll get the answer to our question when we drill down. And we'll look at that in the next lesson.